It is time to expand minds through movies, TV, sports, and flicks. It is time to boldly go where no podcast has gone before. It is time for the Captain Talks Flicks.
The Captain Talks Flicks.
Welcome to the Captain Talks Flicks podcast. I'm your host, the Captain Cortez, aka Mr. Love, and this is where we talk flicks. I welcome the podcast where me, the Captain, talks about movies, TV, sports, flicks, anything you can see on a two-board screen. I like to get on here, give my unique perspective, because after 47 years of being on planet Earth, I've developed a unique perspective about these movies, TV, sports, and flicks, and I like to get into about it. Because just maybe you care. And according to the stats, it looks like you do care. I want to give a big shout out to Switzerland. Got some plays over in Switzerland this past week. Gracias, gratitude, Doraba. In Switzerland, I would love to go and tour and visit CERN. You know CERN, that sciencey place over in Switzerland, the big old machine, this huge machine where they're shooting protons, electrons, or something in the circle, something like that. So thanks for listening. Gracias, gratitude. And just FYI, back in the day when school radio DJ, but never got a job. I think I never got a job because I just didn't do enough science. If I would have did just a little bit more science, then maybe that would enable me to become a radio DJ. But it didn't, and it allowed me to become the greatest podcast in the Matrix. Something to debate, might be true, might not be true, but I said it on the internet, so it's gotta be true, right? Because everything on the internet is facts, not facts, true, false, propaganda, fake news, the Matrix, rain, snow, sleet, sun, wind. I don't know. I didn't make the internet. Ask the people that made the internet. So when you're online, just beware, just watch out. Anyways, I could ramble here all day, but it won't. Let's get right into the podcast. But first, a word from our sponsor. Ladies and gentlemen, do you like rap? Well, if you do, me, the Captain Che Cortez, just dropped one of my older tracks over on all DSPs. The song is called Cybernetic Terran Agent. And if you listen to this track, you're gonna say it's absolutely the craziest thing you've ever heard. It's me rapping and rhyming in my unique style over crazy, spacey beats. I guarantee you, if you go over to any of the DSPs and you find Cybernetic Terran Agent and you push play, you have never heard anything like it in your life. I'm pretty sure of that. So if you want to hear some music, some experimental spoken word, sci-fi, crazy sound and music, and this is something I did way back in 2015. And in 2015, I was developing a kind of new music style, and this is kind of what it birthed. It was off the album called Infinity Spaceman Mike. You should check it out. I guarantee it. It's absolute madness in the best way possible. So I'll put the link below to Cybernetic Terran Agent. Check it out. Now, let's get on with the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I am back again. And this past week, my mind was everywhere. Now this week, the mind really wasn't everywhere like in the monkey mind attacking me kind of way, or like I'm feeling emotionally, whatever. This week, I was just taking time to think about things, explore different ideas about life. I took time to just think about stuff. Now, Bill Gates has been known to spend a week thinking, and I borrowed that. I don't spend a week thinking. I spend a couple hours just thinking. And I'll sit in the house and I'll brainstorm and I'll talk things out loud and I'll check AI and I'll write and I'll Google or whatever, just exploring different possibilities about different ideas of life. And somehow if I explore these ideas, I feel they're gonna just put me in a better position to navigate life, to find out more about myself, to find out more about the world I live in. And I just do that. So this week, it was really a week of that. I didn't watch a lot of TV. I didn't watch a lot of internet. I didn't do a lot of nothing. It was just kind of just pondering things on and ideas and things I was aware of and trying to explore and find deeper meaning in these things. Yeah, it sounds absolute craziness, but Bill Gates does it. Why can't I? And real quick, if you don't like Bill Gates, okay, I know people don't like him. They think he's whatever. But I think taking time to think about things is a great habit to have. And whether you like Bill Gates or not, I don't know if you do or not, I think it's a good thing that he does to kind of grow your mind, expand your mind, and explore ideas. Because in life, if you're trying to get to new territory, new spaces, new places, trying to change your life, you have to think differently than how you're currently thinking. And one way to get there is to explore ideas. At least that's what I think. I could be totally wrong, but that's what I believe, so I practice that. So anyways, I did that this week. Yeah, but also what I did this week is I got some time to watch some Tube. Yeah, I was thinking a lot, right? But I still got time to watch some Tube. And this week, I got to see an absolute great, crazy, wild, maddening sci-fi flick. I saw the movie called Metropia. Yeah, Metropia. Dystopian sci-fi. It was absolute madness in the best way possible. So yeah, I saw Metropia. But before I get into that, a couple things. First of all, there will be spoilers, and I do own some shares in the parent company of Peacock. I just want to be clear and transparent to let you know that, because I did see the movie on Peacock. And now that I told you that, let's get into Metropia. Ladies and gentlemen, this movie, when I first started watching it, just creeped me out. Creep me out. Just the visuals, the way this movie looks. It's an animation movie. It's an anime. It's an adult anime. And the way it looks, the animation just creeped me out. The way the actors, the characters look, creeped me out. I was creeped out. This is like the first 20 minutes. I'm just creeped out. I'm watching the world, looking at the world, seeing what's going on, hearing the dialogue, and just the visuals just creep me out. That's probably by design. Maybe it's by design. Maybe you'll watch, you won't be creeped out. But it creeped me out. I was all creeped out, like slightly uncomfortable, to be real with you. Slightly uncomfortable from looking at these visuals. Just slightly. I don't know what it is. It's not a disrespect. It's just how I felt. And I did love that. But wait. Not only this movie creeped me out. Oh, there was a lot of things happening. So this movie was made in 2009. And this movie is set in 2024. Right? They made it in 2009. And it's set next year. So the events of this movie takes place next year. Like, we close. We're in the future. We're almost there. And in this movie, they're in this dystopian society. Everything's dark and gray. It just looks so gloomy out. All the people and characters just look so zombie-like, not happy or joyous. These plain facial expressions, no animation, excitement. I mean, from watching this movie, it's just like life looks like it's not very enjoyable, to be real about it. And I was thinking I would not want to live there. And yeah, so it turns out in this movie, the main character, Roger, has a voice talking to him in his head. Now, on this podcast, I've talked a lot about what I like to call the monkey mind. Buddhists use this terminology well. It's the voice in your head that's kind of telling you can't do it, you suck, all these disempowering thoughts that you've been programmed with as a kid. So as a kid, a lot of the self-talk you have now is programmed as you get older. And all those thoughts and ideas and beliefs from outside you that were programmed with your mind are coming at you in a monkey mind form. A little chatter. You know what I'm talking about, right? We just, you do disempowering thoughts through your mind. I'm sure you've had them. A lot of us have them. It's our own mind doing it, at least what science says. But in this movie, he hears the voice. But it turns out that voice is not the monkey mind I'm talking about. The one I talk about in this podcast all the time, the one that I have, the one I've spoken about many times, it's not the same. It's not your brain, apparently. Like, Captain, we talk about it's not his brain. How can he have a voice that's not in his mind? What is happening here? Oh, get ready to go down the rabbit hole, Alice. If you are a deep conspiracy theorist, you may want to pause. Because what I'm about to say, you might think this is a documentary. You might think, bro, you're telling the truth, bro. You might go deep. You might lose your mind. Just tread carefully. Be cautious. I'm putting this out there. This was in the movie. Don't freak out. Don't trip out. But ladies and gentlemen, tell me what happened. The main character, Roger, had these thoughts in his mind. He's like, who is this voice? And me watching, I'm thinking it's just his ego. It's his monkey mind talking. That's all it is. But turns out, in the movie, that voice in his head is actually not his voice. Captain, it's not his voice. Then what is it? In this society, and this takes place in Europe, in 2024, there is technology that has the ability to transmit information directly into their brain. Right? It sounds science fiction, it sounds crazy, it sounds like madness, but in this particular film, in this world, that capability has been created. So some guy sitting in some office somewhere It has a headset on. Like I have headphones on right now that I can talk into this. Like kind of what I'm doing here. But instead of beaming this to the podcast and beaming this to SoundCloud and Spotify and all over like I'm doing, they beam it directly into the mind. Same thing. I could just be doing this talking right here. If I'm doing talking, you hear me talking, I'm talking. But instead of beaming it to you through podcasts and headphones, it's directly in the brain. It sounds absolute madness, but this is what goes on the show. But wait, there is more. Not only in that society are they capable of beaming information, voices, information into someone's mind so you can hear it. Yeah, okay, they do that. Okay, but there's more though. They also can receive and read. So they can beam voices and they can also read their thoughts. It's absolute craziness. Now I know there's probably some segment of the population out there have seen this, heard about this, and thinks that, bro, this is what's going on now. This is reality, bro. Because you know what? There's a lot of people out there, and this is not meant as disrespect to nobody, but I know some people believe that a lot of the films and TV shows that we watch are basically documentaries telling what's really going on, especially in the genre of sci-fi. So in sci-fi, a lot of people believe that the things they show in sci-fi are actually reality happening, and they're shoving it right in our face. And now, I don't personally believe this, but I always leave room to be open to the possibility that some of these crazy things here are true. Highly unlikely, but I don't completely shut it off because I don't want to be a closed-minded individual. I never shut anything down completely. I never believe anything fully. I mean, obviously I have more of a slant towards certain things and belief, and I believe some things are more believable and more likely, but I always leave room for doubt in all beliefs. I think it's a good way to move, a good way to think. Never be 100% positive in everything, right? You always have to be open to new ideas and change your mind when new information comes available. But there may be some people that see this movie and say, bro, this is happening now. And I'm just gonna say this. Have you ever had technology that you use on a regular basis just not perform well? You know what I'm talking about? I can think of a lot of instances over the last 20 years where the tech I had just having simple issues that didn't allow it to work. So people would watch this movie and think that we can do that now. When sometimes you can't even get your remote to work. You can't get your remote to work on your TV, right? The simple device, the TV and the remote's having issues. I've had that many times. The remote's having problems. So in a world where the remote can barely function sometimes, people might think or like to believe that somehow somebody, someplace on planet Earth is able to read minds and transmit ideas to a mind easily and regularly when they can't even do that or get a remote to work properly. I just have a hard time believing that. But I don't know, maybe it's true. But anyways, in the movie, they explore this. And then in this movie, they go down a whole rabbit hole of exposing this conspiracy and handling it. But how does Roger get to that point? How does Roger do that? I mean, he finds out about it, he figures it out, but how does this happen? Well, Roger figures this out because he meets a very attractive woman. In fact, this attractive woman is on a soap bottle. There's a bottle of soap that he uses, and this woman's face on it. And he's out in public, and he just happens to see the woman on the soap bottle in public. And he's infatuated. She's a beautiful woman, and he's so infatuated. He lusts after her. He loves her. He likes this woman so much that he approaches her and talks to her. And when he approaches and talks to her, that is when the rabbit hole of craziness ensues. He does things he probably shouldn't be doing, does things that could cause him problems. That's what he does. But this is what happens. So I think a lesson we can learn from this movie is probably like, if you meet a very attractive lady and she's into you and you're not the most high quality man, and this is not meant as disrespect, but as a human being, as a man, you know how a woman is a very attractive woman, a very bad attractive woman, and you know deep down of whether or not you should be pulling or not. And some of these women come here and show you affection and interest, and like they like you and they're trying to be whatever. I've said this on the podcast a couple times. I've watched enough spy movies. I've read enough spy books. I've went down this rabbit hole many times to know, like, tread carefully. If you meet an absolutely stunning, attractive, model-looking woman, and she's trying to be with you, and you ain't on a model level, bro, let's be real, there might be some nefarious things happening, and it's just not the ladies. If you're a lady, and you find a very attractive man, model-looking man, that wants to somehow engage with you or get more intimate with you, closer with you, there might be some shady things going on. And you might find yourself in a world where people are reading minds and they're transmitting thoughts and there's a bunch of crazy conspiracy. And wait, there's even more in the movie. Let me go deeper into the movie. And in the movie, you know how this transmission is done? The transmission is done through the hair follicles on your head. So yeah, so I didn't get into that part, but the hair follicles on the head transmit the signals that are necessary for reading the thoughts and also putting thoughts in your mind. Because there's nanotechnology in the shampoo that goes in your hair through the nanotechnology in the shampoo, the dandruff shampoo. It is absolute madness. When I saw this flick and they talked about this, I thought it was absolute madness. It still is. And this is from 2009. Right? And to be honest, I looked it up on YouTube. Not a lot of people talk about it. I don't understand how a lot of people are not talking about this. And also on Rotten Tomatoes, the score was low. Like, how are people not into this? Are people not into sci-fi no more? I watch a lot of movies. I've seen a lot over 47 years, right? I've seen 47 years of watching movies and TV shows, like tons. I've been a big watcher of television and movies and screens for so many years. And I've seen so much on the screen. And this particular movie, this animation movie, is absolutely fantastic. Great show, great movie, great story, great characters, great ideas. And I don't understand why no one's talking about it. I know it's old and it's not and the rated low, but how are people not discovering this? How are people not talking all about this? This is absolutely magnificent. How have that made it into a live action movie? I'm very surprised by that as well. Now, I saw this movie over on Peacock, and I don't know if it's been there for a while. I think it might be a newly added release. So maybe now that it's on Peacock, it might get more traction, more people see it, because Peacock's got a pretty big audience, I believe. So if you have not seen this movie, and you like sci-fi, and you like crazy ideas, and you like dystopian stories, and you like crazy, impossible things, or just conspiratorial, crazy, dystopian madness, I highly recommend you check this out. Like I said, it creeped me out. When I watched this movie, it was like a roller coaster ride. And I was feeling all types of way. And there was even moments in the movie where the heart rate picked up a little bit, right? Because I got one of those fitness trackers, and I saw it picked up slightly. The movie manipulated my heartbeat slightly because the ride of the movie just did that. For me, at least the way I view movies and how I take them in, it did that to me. It may or may not do that to you. But as you know, I love science fiction. It's one of my favorite things to watch, and this was absolutely great. I'm just surprised more people haven't seen it. Now, I highly recommend Metropia. Now, everything I talk about in the podcast, I recommend all the time, so you should see it. But this particular one, I'm gonna put like, you should really see this, because this podcast is about expanded minds, right? Expanded minds, growing, exploring all different kinds of ideas, trying to just gain more knowledge of the world, more perspectives, more creativity, just viewing the world in a whole new different way daily through growth and experiencing things on the tube to try to enhance that. And I feel the concepts and ideas in this particular film is good for conversation. It's good for exploration. You can Google it on the Google rabbit hole. You can talk with AI. You can talk to your friends about it. It's just big ideas that can be explored. There's ethics involved in this. There's a whole rabbit hole of ideas to be explored just by what's in this movie. So I highly recommend this. Yeah, so anyways, if you want a sci-fi dystopian ride and might make you feel a certain type of way, I highly recommend you go check out Metropia. You will not be disappointed. So anyways, this concludes the podcast. And until next time, we'll see you. Do a little more each day than you think you possibly can. Lowell Thomas. Until next time, this is Captain Peace.
The Captain Talks Flicks.